Hey everyone, this is Maggie, and I'm going to take you through Trikonasana, or triangle pose today. Just a few things to remember or to know about triangle pose. This is what we call an open hip posture, which just means we're going to be externally rotating the front of the thighs or the femur bones away from one another. So the knees are going to start to split, and we're going to engage and wrap the back of the legs, the hamstrings, and the glutes in and under to support from behind. Right? Another thing to remember is to have a slight bend to the front knee. This will keep the knee from locking out and keep the integrity of that joint for years to come. And then finally, we're going to have our focus today on the center line of the mat. When we come into Trikonasana, we want to make sure that we're working along that plane. So our heels, hips, and upper body, arms all work in that same plane, right down the center of the mat. Beautiful. The one other thing that we have today is our blocks. We're going to be using our blocks as a variation, but it's not required. If you have one, maybe you want to bring it with you just so you can try that variation. A lot of times it actually draws you deeper into the pose, which feels so good once you can find that length and depth that maybe not having a block would offer you. So we'll come to the center of the mat, take the hands to the hips, and then hands to the heart. Today we're going to simply step the feet out to the side. In some practices, you'd actually jump the feet out to the side. So if you prefer to do that, I'll let you decide today. Nice, and we're going to take the front toes and point them to the front of the mat. So now, not only are our heels in line, but the front toes and then the heels are in one line. And the hips are still stacked right above. We're going to draw the arms out nice and wide. We're going to notice if our right hip or back hip starts to rotate forward. We're going to draw that hip back. You can even use your hand to pull that hip back a little bit until you feel like you're back in line with the center of the back. Then we're going to tuck the back toes so they're closer to the front of the mat than the back heel. Slight bend to the front knee, and then reach forward as far as you feel comfortable going. Once you're kind of at your natural edge, maybe the hand comes to the hip. Maybe you drop the lower rib cage and reach a little bit further. Pausing here before lowering the hand down to the leg. All right, we're going to keep light with that left hand on the shin or the thigh, anywhere but the knee. So we want to come down only as far as our body is willing today. Once the shoulders are stacked, maybe the upper arm lifts, maybe the gaze. I want to focus on drawing the shoulders away from the ears down towards the hips and reaching the entire length of that lifted arm towards the wall behind you. Breathing here. Nice and steady breath. Can you find a gentleness through the toes? Pressing the mat away between the feet. And again, external rotation to the front thigh as the left hip sickles under the body. When you're ready to come a little bit deeper, we're going to look down at the left foot. So today we're going to bend into the knee simply to grab our block. You can take the block in two different variations. The first variation is to drop it down inside the front foot. Notice that the block has 3 different levels, 1, 2, and 3. It could be that the highest version, or the middle version, or the lowest version is the one that you feel strongest, firmest, and most grounded in. So I would suggest that you try each variation. The other option as well is to come to the outer edge of the foot. Sometimes the balance has a little bit more integrity here, as it allows for that left hip to press forward a little bit more since your weight is kind of shifting back to the block. Nice. When you're ready, releasing the block, looking down, pressing into the feet to lift all the way up. We'll come to the other side, maybe taking it a little deeper if it's in your practice today. Both toes face towards the side of the mat, and then we point the back toes towards the back of the mat, and the left toes come in. Notice again if the left hip starts to draw towards the back of the mat, open it up, open through the chest. Slight bend in that back knee, reaching for that back wall. Going as far as you feel comfortable, and then dropping down onto the top of the leg, ankle, or foot. Nice and light to the palm, to the fingertips, draw the shoulders back. You can stay here, or you can hover the hand inside the calf, inside the ankle, lightly touching the fingertips to the mat. Or you can come all the way down to your block or the mat itself. Knowing when you come down a little deeper, you'll really have to externally rotate that right thigh back and away, and that right hip up and under the body. If this is fairly easy for you, you can maybe take your pointer and middle finger, that yogi toe lock, wrap it around the big toe with the thumb, find your length, and then maybe the gaze drifts up towards the sky. Softening the breath, trying to find that place, that balance between engagement and ease. When you're ready, looking down at the right foot, plant the foot nice and firm, engage the inner thighs, lift all the way up. And then take the toes back towards the side of the mat. Take the hands to the hips, roll the shoulders back. Take the hands into the heart and step the feet together, coming back where we started. So there you have it, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Thank you so much for sharing your practice and your mat with me today. Until next time, namaste.